Hello students, how are you? Today is Wednesday, March 8th, and we are doing an online assignment tonight. We're not having class. As you know, we did not have class Monday either. And just as a quick reminder, the reason we didn't do that is because after spring break, we're going to have a regular week, and then we're going to have 2 weeks that we meet Monday and Wednesday. So I have my little cheat sheet right here. I did. Where did it go? I have my little dates written down. So we did out of class assignment for Monday, March 6th. And that's what it said in Canvas, out of class assignment. It actually still says that in Canvas. And then you have your online assignment number 7, which is tonight. We'll have spring break. Your work for both of these assignments is due Sunday, March 19th at the end of spring break. So you have all this week to do it, and then you have spring break if you want it. You can get it done early, you can wait till the last minute, whatever floats your boat. But it's due on March 19th at 11:59, and then on March 20th, I will see you guys in class. That's a Monday. Wednesday the 22nd, we'll have an online assignment, just like we normally do. And then the week after that, we'll have our 2 weeks of back-to-back Monday, Wednesday classes. So it'll be Monday, March 27th, in class. Wednesday, March 29th, in class. Monday, April 3rd. No, wait, here's my cheat sheet. Yes, Monday, April 3rd, in class. Monday, April 5th, in class. Or Wednesday, April 5th, in class. So if you haven't marked your calendar yet for those nights, please go ahead and do that. And just to clarify again, those nights that we are in class, we will not do an online assignment. All right, so no need to make things more complicated, right? All right, so the work I wanted to talk to you about this week, on your pacing schedule, we were covering curriculum and standards and accountability. Big topic. This class is intro to the teaching profession. So we are going to, as I put on Monday's assignment, we're going to dip our toe into the world of educational standards. So the first piece of work I want you to do is, or you might have already done it, was on Monday night I put up a handout that had 5 questions and a website that you could go to get the answers to those questions. The website that I put up it's one that I chose for you because it's a really good site. It has very clear information. It's concise. It's better than Wikipedia. You can find some of that stuff on Wikipedia, but sometimes Wikipedia is like junky. It's got all those weird extra links and stuff. This is like a government website that talks about the Common Core standards. And we're talking about Common Core because that's what we've got. So even if you're thinking about leaving Florida, at this point, it's something like 42 states have accepted Common Core. So even if you were to get your degree in Florida and go teach somewhere else, the odds are really good that you're going to be exposed to Common Core either right away or in the future. So the first handout, again, the one I posted on Monday, was 5 questions for you to answer to kind of familiarize yourself with a little bit of background about the Common Core standards. And then the next handout, which is tonight, is a much bigger experience where you're going to open up this Word document. You're going to go to the website, it's a different website, and you're going to actually start to interact with the standards. And I want you, the whole purpose of this is for you to start clicking around and becoming familiar with what teachers look at, because these standards are not super straightforward. They're not things like student will learn how to add 2-digit problems. I can't even remember the words, but we'll learn how to, solve 2-digit addition problems using carryover, where you add 6 plus 5 is 11, and then you carry the 1, or whatever. And they're also teaching math differently now, but there are those standards, but they're kind of written in a really formal way. So that standard right there, or even if we just wanted to say students are going to learn simple basic addition, or addition of 1-digit numbers, there will be a big long code for that. It'll be like MA.ABC.2.587. So there's a whole bunch of standards and they're all coded and it looks really complicated on the surface. But what I want you to see on the website is when you start to drill down, they're not quite as complicated as they could be. So a couple things I want you to think about. Again, first, if you did not yet do the assignment from Monday, March 6th, please go back and do that one first. The second one will make a lot more sense to you if you do that one first. So the one on Monday is worth 10 points, which is exactly what you would have earned if you came to class and participated on Monday. The one for today is an online assignment, and that's worth 20 points. So again, we're looking at 30 points for this week, which is exactly what you would have had if we had met both days. When you work through this one, you're going to need to pay really close attention to the places where it says click home, click standards, click here. Everything's written very carefully for you, and I want you to look at some specific things on that website. So there's a couple of videos to watch on the site, maybe just one. There's some places to look around and answer questions, and you'll just open up the Word document, work your way through it, type in your answers, save your work, and upload it back to Canvas. All right, so that's what I'm going to have you guys do, is start to jump in and experience a little bit of working around with the standards. Now, the thing that I want to say about standards is, first, they are really important. You can probably think of reasons why they're important. They are important so that first graders at DeSoto Trail and Gilchrist and Bond and Astoria Park are all learning relatively the same set of skills. So that if Sarah's mom decides that they're going to move across town, or even because they're Common Core standards to another state, that Sarah will be relatively in the same place as all the other first graders. So that's one reason why they're important, because it helps with kids who are in transition, and we do have lots of families in transition. It just happens. Military families, families that are super low income, have a track record for moving around a lot. It's not good, bad, or indifferent or a judgment. It's just kids move because life happens. Boom. When I was a kid, we moved from Burlington, Vermont to Tallahassee, Florida when I was in the 6th grade. And I was about a year, maybe a year and a half ahead of everybody else. Vermont was a lot more advanced with their standards than Florida was at the time. I was bored in school for a while, and it really wasn't until I got to Lincoln and was able to start taking like TCC classes and AP classes that I started to feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm actually really learning something. And those differences exist. They used to be a lot worse. You might have some experiences with that yourself, because when you guys were in elementary school, Common Core wasn't quite there yet. You are kind of at the end of the kids who would have not had Common Core. Okay, so that's one thing. Another reason why it's important is it does give teachers a guideline. Now, what you should know, the activity that I'm going to have you do, where you're going in and you're poking around and you're opening up standards and you're looking at them, a lot of teachers don't do that. And the reason is this: there are wonderful textbook companies, Pearson, McGraw-Hill, other big names, other small names, that work very hard to create materials for teachers to use that are based on those standards. And what it does is kind of like the textbook company becomes the middleman, kind of similar to the idea of middleman in other businesses, where the teacher doesn't necessarily have to sit down and work through the standards and plan a curriculum based on the standards, because it's all there for them. So if you are handed a canned curriculum, a set from Pearson or McGraw-Hill, and you've seen these before. When you were a kid, your teachers had them. Remember the great big spiral books, like here's my grade book, and it would be like several inches bigger than the grade book, but it had a big spiral bounding, and sometimes you get a peek at it and it showed like your math problems, and a lot of them even had suggestions for what the teachers could say. They were scripted, and then off to the side, maybe in the margin, there'll be a reference to a state standard. So some of these publishing companies are literally so big that they have these materials written for every single state. And sometimes there's multiple choices. So what we use, or what they use, what we use at my kids are at School of Arts and Sciences, or Ayla's at School of Arts and Sciences. You guys know that. School of Arts and Sciences uses the same math curriculum that Leon County Schools does. And they do that because they found that when kids were leaving SAS after middle school, because it's only through 8th grade, and they were going into 9th grade math at the public high schools, they weren't in the same place. So they decided to adopt the same math curriculum that Leon County Schools does. But that's the only one that they do. So Ayla does have like a standard workbook where pages are ripped out. You can look at the teacher materials and see how it lines up with the Florida standards, which are Common Core. Other than that, though, at Ayla School, the teachers are making their own curriculum, and they are doing a lot of work where they interact with these tools. So when you're a teacher, you might work in a school where they say, where it could be any reason. It could be, we don't have the money to buy new textbooks. It could be, we have high expectations for our teachers and we expect you to test your students, know the standards they need to achieve, and plan your lessons. And you might be required to be that kind of master teacher. Lots of different reasons could be the reasons why you don't have access to those kind of curriculum materials. I used to work for someone who called that check your brain at the door teaching. And she really didn't like schools that had all canned materials where you had to set, the books with the matching teacher manual for language arts and the one for science and the one for math. And there's something to be said for using those materials to get your feet wet the first few years. But man, it's fun when you get your head wrapped around what the kids need and where the standards are and how to bring them together for your kids and your class. So I want you to have some fun dipping your toe into the standards, taking a look around. The website that I'm giving you today is the website that Florida uses to send their teachers to look at the Sunshine State standards. It's called the CPOMs. Fun fact, my husband used to work for the office at FSU that built CPOMs. Anyway, I think that's it. We will talk a little bit more about this when we meet in class, because I want to touch on how the standards can hold teachers accountable and how they're going to work for you as far as like having a job, because teachers do performance reviews and stuff like that, just like you would if you went to go work in a corporate office somewhere, or even if you were stocking shelves at Home Depot. All right, so go forth and conquer. Have a lovely spring break. Be safe, and I will see you on March 20th.